Happy Thursday from Cedar City, Utah. I just got back from my first day of the conference, the Conference of Intermountain Archivists meeting for the year, and it was a lot of fun. I went to some good sessions, met some former coworkers, and got to visit a fun local pizza place for lunch, local bookstore, which was also fun. And then we had a reception this evening at a local museum. Now, we are in a very Mormon part of the country, so there are a lot of Mormon influences historically, and they have some wonderful historical homes and things that they preserve very well. The museums here are amazing. So it was a lot of fun to poke through the houses. We got to do little activities, which was really fun. Used sealing wax. So if you've never done that, it's basically sealing as in SEALING for correspondence, of course, where you melt the wax, put it on the envelope, and then you use a press to actually put an imprint in the seal or create the seal that would close the letter. So we got to do that. And we also got to use a little printing press, which was a lot of fun. I got to make a bookmark. And there were some old buildings that we got to climb around in. There were some live chickens there that we were able to feed, and a lot of wagons, some railroad history because there's a lot of Union Pacific Railroad activity in this area, and just so many fun things. And it's, let's see, I think the Heritage Frontier Museum or something like that in Cedar City, Utah. $4 admission. It's very well put together. A lot of really interesting things to look at. I didn't get to all of them because we only had a limited amount of time there. The museum was actually closed already, and the our group actually reserved it for the event. And we had a string quartet playing, we had hors d'oeuvres, and it was just a very nice evening. A little warm. It's over 80 degrees here right now, and a lot of the museum is outdoors. So if I look a little red, that is why. But also, the conference itself is being held at Southern Utah University here in Cedar City, and they have an absolutely beautiful campus. There is a Shakespeare festival here in Cedar City as well, and the keynote for today's conference was actually about Shakespeare. So that was fascinating, and they tie it into the archival profession because it is a group of archivists. So the theme of this year's conference is All the Worlds in Archives. But along those lines, if anybody is familiar with Shakespeare, you'll know the expression all the where excuse me, all the world's a stage. So that was an absolutely wonderful presentation, and we got to see some very historic Shakespeare folios and quartos. So they would have been published many hundreds of years ago. I believe one of them was 1654. And that's one of the wonderful things about being a member of the archival community is being able to see such old and historic records and publications. So it's been a great day all around. I really didn't take any video because I was so busy doing things. I do have some photos, but after last night's experience uploading my video in the hotel room, I think I'm going to keep this short because it takes quite a while. The Wi-Fi obviously is not as great as it is at home, and I just want to make sure that I keep on track with my daily videos and keep my record of what I'm doing throughout the course of my days. So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about what I've been up to at the conference. If you are not familiar with archives, I definitely recommend that you find one and check it out because they have a lot of fun things. It's different from a museum because most archives do not have three-dimensional ephemera items. So physical things like I described from our museum visit this evening. But some of the documentation can be absolutely amazing. And depending on what kind of history interests you. You can find a variety of different archives to get information about your interests. So, many of the archivists at this conference are university archivists. So they have a much wider collection area than what we had at the Nevada State Archives because our mandate was to collect the historic records of Nevada state government. But a university archives, for example, has all kinds of interesting things. And one of the presentations, they talked about book arts, which, if you're not familiar with book arts, you should definitely look into it because it's not just like regular publishing, it is very artistic. And some of them literally are incredible works of art. So, definitely, if you're not familiar with archives, check them out. Just search for different archives. And if you get an opportunity to go visit one, I recommend it, even if you're not a fan of just documents in particular. But you can find some really interesting things. And they are much different than libraries, which I think I've mentioned before, because in a library, you would be able to look up a book by a particular subject, but you have to find information differently in an archive. So that's why archives and archivists are so important. And obviously, I'm still very passionate about the subject, even though I'm retired, which is why I keep going to these conferences. But every time I do go, I obviously get very energized, and it is a lot of fun. Archivists are really interesting people. So I thank you for joining me again. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're going into Friday tomorrow. And, if it's warm where you are, I hope you're looking forward to a nice, maybe cool weekend outdoors. Of course, I did see, I think they were playing the Weather Channel or something here in the hotel. And it looks like it's been somewhat stormy in the Midwest and back east. So if you are in the path of severe weather, I hope you're staying safe. Um, but not to turn this into a weather report. I'll just wish you a good evening, and I'll check in with you again tomorrow. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is the life of a writer/archivist. Take care.